Hello and welcome to King Cole's YouTube channel. I'm Lydia and today I'm going to be teaching you how to crochet this bobble stitch. There's a few things you need to know before you start, but then we're going to get straight into it. Firstly, our chain will be a multiple of 4 plus 3. By following this, it will mean that on your shorter bobble stitch row, you'll have 3 double crochet at the beginning and end, and on the staggering row, you'll have 1 double crochet at the beginning and end. And this creates a really nice sequence and keeps it symmetrical, so that's really important to follow. The second point is that we will be creating a turning chain at the end of each row, and this will not count as our first stitch, as on the staggering row of our bobble stitch we will actually need to trap that contrasting yarn that we're introducing, and we'll be doing that by creating a double crochet in our first stitch before creating the bobble in the second stitch. You'll understand this as we go along, but it's just important to bear in mind that you will not be using your turning chain as your first stitch. So for my sample, I'm going to chain 15. That's 12 as my multiple of 4, and then plus 3, 15. And then we're also going to chain 3 from here as our turning chain, and then we're going to place a treble crochet 4 chains from the hook. So we're going to yarn over once, insert our hook into the 4th chain from the hook, going to pull through, so there should be 3 chains on the hook. We're going to yarn over again and pull through 2, and yarn over and pull through 2. So there you have your treble. And we're going to do that again all along the chain. So the number of trebles here should be the same number as your foundation chain. We're then going to chain 2 and turn our work. Now we're going to introduce the new shade which we'll be using for our bobble stitch. You want to get the tail of your new shade and you want to place it just in front of your work. And we're then going to trap this new shade with 3 double crochet. So make sure you have enough of a tail that it's not going to come out. Place it in front, and then we're going to be placing a double crochet in that first stitch there. Remember, our chain doesn't count as a stitch. So we're going to insert a hook and pull up a loop. So you should have 2 loops on your hook. We're going to yarn over, pull through 2 loops, and that's starting to trap that yarn there. We're going to do the same in the next 2 stitches. So you should have 3 double crochet. So 3 stitches each with 1 double crochet. That's trapped that yarn nicely. We're then going to put this shade 1 forwards and pick up shade 2. Now the interesting thing about this bobble stitch is we're actually working on the wrong side of your work at this point when we make the bobbles, as when we create a cluster we're then going to bunch it on this side and it will create the bobble on the opposite side. So to create the bobble with your second yarn, you're going to yarn over and insert your hook into the next loop. You're going to pull up a loop, so you should have 3 loops on your hook. We're then going to yarn over and pull through 2 loops, quite like you would if you were doing a treble crochet. However, we're not going to pull through 2 more as if we were to do the treble. We're instead going to do this again 4 more times. Yarn over, insert your hook. This is all in the same stitch. Pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. Now at the end of this bobble you should have 6 loops on your hook. That should be 5 of your second colour and 1 of your first. Now to bring them together to create a bobble, we're then going to drop shade 2 forwards and pick up shade 1. We're then going to hold it in front and we're going to grab the yarn with our hook, yarn over, and we're going to pull through all 6 loops at once. There we go. So then we should just have 1 loop on the hook, which is our shade 1. Shade 1 and 2 a bit tighter, you'll see we have our first bobble. Now it'll become a bit clearer when we work on our next row and it quite traps that stitch in. But if it looks like this, then you've done it right. We'll then continue by doing 3 more double crochet that trap our second yarn again. So in the next stitch along with our shade 1, we're going to place a double crochet by inserting the hook, pulling up a loop, yarning over, and pull through 2. We're going to do that twice, again trapping the yarn just as we did before. We're then going to drop this yarn forwards after 3 double crochet and we're going to create our second bobble. So you'll see that the pattern will start to become, for our first row of bobbles, 3 doubles, cluster, 3 doubles, cluster. Now we've done 3 doubles, we're going to again yarn over, insert our hook, pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2. And then we're going to do that 4 more times just as we did before so that we get a bobble stitch. And again we want 6 loops on the hook, 5 of colour 2, 1 of colour 1. We then drop colour 2, pick up colour 1, and we're going to yarn over and pull through all 6 loops. And you have 2 bobbles. Then again we're going to trap shade 2 by placing a double crochet in the next 3 stitches. And then drop that forwards and we're going to create our bobble just as we did before. Now you should have 3 stitches left at the end of your row. This is where we said that we need to have a multiple of 4 plus 3 for a chain so that we can make sure the beginning and end of each row are symmetrical. For these last 3 stitches you are again going to just place a double crochet in each of them, trapping the yarn as you do so. At the end of your work we're going to chain 3 and turn our work. And then you have your first row of bobbles. Now to continue from here we're going to place a treble in every stitch above. Remember that your chain 3 does not count as your first stitch, so we're going to place our first one into these loops here. To do this we're going to yarn over, insert a hook, pull up a loop. There should be 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Then you have a treble. We're going to do this all the way across the row, so you should have the same amount of trebles as was the number of your chain, your multiple of 4 plus 3. So you're going to yarn over, insert your hook, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. We're just going to place a treble into that top loop just there, just above the bobble stitch. So there you should have the same amount of trebles as the number that you chained at the beginning, your multiple of 4 plus 3. So I chained 15 and I now have 15 trebles plus my turning chain. Now to continue, we're going to do another row of bobble stitches. I'm going to teach you how to stagger these stitches as we've done here. However, if you wanted to repeat the process as we did before and have your stitches above, then you just continue as you did when you made this row. But for my row, where we're staggering, we're going to chain 2, and we're going to turn our work, and we're going to introduce our second shade again. For you, this might be a different shade to the one that you used before. I'm just going with the same one, and we're just going to place that shade just in front of our work as we have there, as we did before. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to start as we did on the previous bobble stitch row with 1 double crochet in this first stitch here. Remember that our turning chain does not count as a stitch. But our second stitch is going to be where we place the bobble. Now this is where I explained in the beginning why our turning chain does not count as our first stitch, because we do need to trap the yarn in this first one here. If it were to count as our first stitch, we wouldn't have been able to do that. Now we're going to drop our shade 1 forwards after doing 1 double crochet, and we're going to yarn over with shade 2, insert your hook into the second stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, just as we did before. We're going to do that again 4 more times. So then you should have 6 loops on your hook, 5 of your shade 2 and 1 of shade 1. Then going to drop this yarn forwards and pick up our first shade. Going to yarn over and pull through all 6 loops. There we go. And then we're going to continue as we had in the previous bobble stitch row by trapping our second shade with the next 3 stitches, each having a double crochet. And then we're going to drop that shade forwards and create a bobble stitch. So it's pretty much the same as we did before, but the only difference is that we're only creating 1 double crochet at the beginning of this row, and we're doing our bobble stitch straight into the second. And then in between each bobble, we're still going to be doing 3 double crochet, trapping our second yarn. Now at the end of your row, after you've done a bobble stitch and then your 3 double crochet, our last 2 stitches are going to have a bobble followed by 1 double crochet. And again, this is where our multiple of 4 plus 3 was important for the foundation chain, as that's meant that each side will be symmetrical. And then our last stitch of the row is just going to trap that second yarn with 1 double crochet. Leave enough of a tail so you can sew it in. And then from here, we're going to chain 3 and turn. Then you have your staggering bobbles. For our next row, we're going to do what we did here in between these bobbles again, and we're just going to place a treble into every stitch of our next row. Now to continue from here, if you wanted more staggering bobbles, you could simply repeat what we did on row 1, where you do 3 double crochet, trapping your shade 2, followed by a bobble, 3 double crochet, bobble. So the the only difference here is that our row with one less bobble stitch starts with 3 double crochet, trapping our yarn, and the row with one more bobble stitch starts with 1 double crochet and then creates the bobble into the second stitch. Thank you for watching this video. We hope it's been helpful. Please do comment below any suggestions of what you'd like to see us film next, whether that's a stitch, a hack, or any tips about a garment. We'd love to hear from you below. Thanks for watching and have a nice day crocheting.